That's our bandwidth. 1,000 oxygen concentrators every day. Every single nasal and throat swab sticks used from Leh to Kanyakumari. 150 ventilators every day. That's what we supply from Visakhapatnam, from this beautiful city, to the rest of the country and rest of the world. Literally saving lives of millions in a very silent but very strategic way. Can slip. We have not followed any traditional approach. What we have done is that we have gone to every single product, looked at its technical complexity and given a solution to that. So for example, I was just telling my friend Mr. Patnaik that if you look at an MRI, which example my friend gave, an MRI is available in India at about 6 crore plus. What is an MRI? An MRI is a superconducting magnet which is made at 4 Kelvin temperatures of helium. 4 Kelvin, we don't even talk in centigrade and Fahrenheit. 4 Kelvin is the helium temperature of the core, and if you rotate this superconducting magnet, it generates a magnetic field. Each Germany and China, world's third and India's first superconducting magnet center in Visakhapatnam. Today we make superconducting magnets which allowed many MRI manufacturers in India to start manufacturing MRI. Many manufacturers outside India actually take magnets from us. And therefore, in a nutshell, and I'll conclude here and pass on the mic to my friends, is medical technology is a very complex segment. You look at a mask, it is a medical technology, but it is a textile. You look at a specs, it is plastic and polymer, but it is a medical device. You look at an ECG machine, it is an electronic but a medical device. You look at an RT-PCR kit for COVID, it's a reagent but a medical device. Unlike many other segments like pharmaceuticals, textiles, our sector is very heterogeneous, very complex, very diverse, grouped together. To support investments, production in medical technology which is so diverse, 18 centers are needed to support industry, whether it is 3D printing, whether it is electromagnetic interference, whether it is biomaterial testing, whether it is implant testing and so on. If there is one place in the world where all these 18 centers are available for the industry in one single campus, it is AP medtech zone Visakhapatnam. China has only 11 and US has only 7 in one campus. And therefore, AMTZ has created two approaches. One, look at the customs duty and critical component requirement of the industry for medical equipment, solve that. Two, create the scientific facilities that allow industry to move forward at least at 10x, 10 times faster than they would otherwise do. And that is why we can proudly say that when COVID started and kits were being imported at 4,000 rupees plus, RT-PCR COVID test kits, which none of us could have afforded for a long time, AP medtech zone in 22 days of lockdown could bring out COVID RT-PCR kit from India at 218 rupees. And a kit that was required at 12 lakh tests per day, 11 lakh per day went from AMTZ Visakhapatnam. Thank you.
He comes with 18 years of experience in biopharmaceutical manufacturing, and he's the co-founder and CEO of Emogen, where he's relentlessly trying to take the diabetic medication to the lower and middle incomes. So if you could just talk about it a little bit.
Thank you, Hema. So I'm really spellbound with Jitendra Sharma's speech. So I may not be like that, but I'm kind of some kind of introvert. So I'm which is a which we get it from a normal plant, but we produce that particular stevia molecule from the organism. So that you don't need depend on anything. So like that we have worked for stevia, like that we have worked for saffron. So these are the two things so that also we got it from the organism. So we have transferred the technology to the earlier than source. So the part of implementation development program. So then I was working in a pneumococcal vaccine as a part of my job. Then after that I jumped into some of the insulin. Then basically there I got so much of interest because by 2024 already we have got 70 million diabetic patients. 70 million diabetic patients, and by 2045 we will be having 700 million diabetic patients. And we have 1 in 2 patients who are not able to get any diabetic medication because of cost and accessibility. So with that initiative, I resigned as a R&D head in Dr.PP. So I started my own firm. So I think I should congratulate and thank this and present Bizzbuzz employees. Because earlier in 7 years or 8 years back, there is no private participation in this kind of conclave. So only government used to produce or they used to support this kind of conclave, that is fundraising and other things. So I was, then luckily we have got a investor previous in Rani in partner construction. So then business mindset, business outset, we have gone for a bigger peptide manufacturing facility in Hyderabad. So that could cater the needs of the total world. So it would be like a 500 to 1 ton cases of the 1 ton production of the insulin, some kind of insulin in long. So our basic idea is that it should reach even low income and middle income people. So that was our low mission. So with that only we are going ahead. So the molecule which we are working is, so many of us no idea what kind of diabetic medications we are following. So I think now we have got a Ozempic. So does anybody knows that Ozempic is only once in a week injection? You inject today and next 7 days you don't need to give medication. So you can eat whatever you want. So these are the medications we have got. So if you compare like a Western countries, we have got all kind of luxuries what Western people are having, like Apple, iPhone, 5G, networks and other things, but not in terms of the medication. Still we are very very low. Even we are using only 30 years and 40 years back discovered molecules only we are using. So that was the reason I want to bring third generation insulin analogs or insulin medications. Hello participants.
Dr. Kalyan, that's really amazing and all the very best. Now we have Mr. Dr. PP Krishna. He's quite famous and well known in Vizag. He's the CEO and MD of Pharma industry, and he also been instrumental in bringing many pharma
pharmaceutical industrial estate with a PPP model, public-private partnership model, and a BOO basis, build, own, and operate. It's a perpetual contract, and we brought an investment of 25,000 crores into the city, and more than 100 pharma companies are there, and 35,000 people are working as of now, and the exports are going to more than 85 countries, sir. Around more than 20,000 crores the production is happening. So this is the only one pharmaceutical in India offering integrated environment management services. You generate any kind of waste, we are there to take care. Either it is a cyanide waste or the heavy metal waste or the organic waste or the inorganic waste, whatever it is there, we make it is entirely nullify the entire the pollutants and take it out and dispose the treated effluent into the sea. That kind of the common effluent treatment plant, nowhere in India it is there like this kind of thing. Because there are some common effluent treatment plant bits and parcel in entire India, but those are all pharmaceutical parks as required. So the government has to support that. So we believe government is supporting in that, especially central government. And there are certain policies are required by the state government. Once they give that kind of support also, then further business we can bring and further cheaper medicine for the global community. That should be the approach. We have to work on that. All the media and the entrepreneurs and the industrialists, all the people with the government, if we can work out, we can make the cheaper medicine for the global community. That's all, madam. Thank you.
Now we have Ms. Leela Rani Alla. She's a second generation entrepreneur and MD of Pharma Limited. She's also the chairperson of Women Entrepreneurship Wing of AP Chambers, where they are regularly encouraging women to be part of pharma industry. Ma'am, if you can just take a couple of minutes and talk about your journey.
First of all, Andariki Namaskaram andi. Good morning, everyone. All the participants present here and fellow speakers. Really inspiring, sir, to hear your journey of AMTZ, and I would definitely love to visit sometime. So, actually, when Hans India called me for this conclave, I said, see, I'm just a beginner because it's been, I'm a second generation entrepreneur. Pharma is founded by my dad, my father, Alla Venkat Reddy Garu, and my mother, Ratna Kumari Garu. So we as a family we thought that we should support our parents and support in the journey of entrepreneurship, because for a family business it is very important for the family to involve. So my completely new segment for me because I was coming from biotech and this is the generic pharma space. So where there is always more emphasis on how you can scale up, how you can be cost competitive, and how you can cater to your customer, how you can be cost competitive globally. Even today, that is how the generic space works, and we all know that. So for this to happen, I think it is very important to have the basic infrastructure which is available, which should be given by the government, which should be facilitated by the government in fact. So I think land, water, and power, and all these things. And today here under the AC, and I'm just thoughts are reeling in my mind that we are working at 50% capacity, and how do we optimize our production? So these are the challenges which entrepreneurs face when you have to be cost competitive. So generic space is all about being cost competitive. So, but I think today, in today's world, even the generic companies are looking into, slowly migrating into innovation and R&D, because I think the future lies when there is a strong research and innovation. I think India is a pharmacy hub, manufacturing hub, in fact, so we all should envision that India should someday become a innovation hub for pharmaceuticals and biotechnology. So I think the most important aspect when it comes to research and innovation, I think academia play a very important role along with the industry. So all the higher education institutions should be equipped that they meet what is the industry need curriculum, and research projects should be given importance in all the institutions. I think we have wonderful universities here, the prestigious Andhra University, where many pioneers in pharma have been produced, and today most of the big entrepreneurs in the generic space in India, I think, most of them have come from Andhra Pradesh. So that is a very, proud feeling for all of us. So we should embark on a vision where, these universities also upgrade, and like Jitendra sir was talking about, think simple. I think think simple and solve complex problems. What we actually do is the opposite of it. We think complex and we find it difficult to solve simple problems. So I think today that is a learning for me, sir. So, and I would like to just tell you how molecules are evolving today. So I was really surprised when a US company launched a novel molecule called Tamiflex. I think you can just go and Google in the net. So they have clinical data for it, and then they have a patent for it, and they are claiming that your joint pain is going to reduce in 5 days. So arthritis is a major concern for all of us now, like Sir Hauser said, diabetics, and arthritis is also one of the major problem, and we have a lot of medicines and innovative molecules coming up in the arthritis segment. So I was wondering, this is a nutraceutical, they have a clinical data, they have a support study, and they're saying in 5 days you're going to cure it. So when I went through the data and actually attended a webinar of theirs, this Tamiflex contains tamarind seed powder and curcumin. So when the director of the company was talking about Tamiflex, he said, I'm so glad that the traditional Ayurvedic texts talked about the tamarind seed powder, and he got inspired from it, and he took they studied further on it, improved it, and then they actually filed a patent. So we have all the knowledge, all the wonderful information available in our traditional scriptures. I think that we should try to explore it more and use innovative technologies and come up. I think we should be filing the patents for whatever knowledge we have in our Ayurvedic texts. So there are many such molecules. Actually, we are also into nutraceutical domain, where we are working with molecules like lactoferrin, and then we are also done a formulation with natural eggshell membrane, where we have a clinical support of, the joint pains get reduced in 15 days. So these are all simple molecules from nature, but they have potential, humongous potential. So I think we need to explore into that, and like I learned today, think simple and solve complex problems. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And finally, we have Mr. Loveleen Gupta. He has 20 years of experience in this industry, and he has been associated with several lupin research as well. Sir, if you could just take a couple of minutes to...
Yeah, so this is my interesting story of new drug discovery field in the pharma line. I've been in industry more than 26 years in this line. What I envision in industry in pharma, basically everybody focus on a specific one target, one gene, and developing a drug. I've been in pharma line for, started my career from Torrent and then back Cadla, Lupin. Then I've been for Eli Lilly Pharmaceuticals in US and Singapore campus. Came back to GVK Biosciences as heading the biology group. After that I started venturing. So during my journey of research in the discovery side, I found that there is a need for thinking about one word called polypharmacology rather than one specific target. And no wonder that it is a different way of thinking. But if you see, a disease is not happening by only one protein or one gene. It is happening of the cumulative effect. If we thought in that way, can you think about that polypharmacology utilizing the different herbal active principle? It's not only the chemical compound, because the conventional drug discovery going on for a one protein, one target, one specific molecules. That's new drug discovery field worldwide, as well as India is also participating in generic medicine for developing those. Our concept came that why don't we think about that? We can I guess manage the disease rather than going for one specific protein. That the toxicity will not be there because these herbals active compound, there are several in line. We have more than 60 or 65 different pure compound. We handle that for understanding the pathways and handling the diseases. So second challenges for alternate medicine using herbal formulations is coming, that they are very, very non-polar in nature, not getting absorbed in the body. So we require to have some delivery technology. So we developed several delivery technology. Is conventional like phytosomes and going for SNEDDS, self-nano-emulsifying drug delivery systems, as well as some polymer-based technologies for making that non-polar tough molecules to getting absorbed in the body and getting effective. So we developed different technologies and in a different herbal active compound, making there's a regime of such a way that going to be handling the disease a very different way. This is, of course, we are using the pure compound herbal, but it's a totally different routing of Ayurveda. We putting our scientific knowledge of the disease in the pathways. On that basis, we design the treatment regime. The beauty of this approach is we can take a different pure molecule rather than taking only one specific compound. And these are the specific molecules. Also, we found that, as I'm going for a little more detail in the science here, these molecules are not inhibiting or totally stopping that specific protein. They are going to normalize such a way, and then after that it's not doing the more activity on those. So that's the reason they are not toxic at all. There's some link why this herbal medicine are told as a non-toxic, because they are not killing the protein or not stopping the protein for the zero level. They are normalizing for overactivation which is happening in the disease. So these are different concepts we're bringing together, and we bring in the different medications of our. My background in neurology and oncology side, we developed several autoimmune disorders medications using alternate therapy basis. We're being successful. I have a patent in psoriasis. I've been successful in rheumatic arthritis as well as for irritable bowel diseases. We have infectious disease control as well. So these are the different indications. We found that we have a better understanding of the disease biology and doing the formulation. We have been our research and production. Research we have in Singapore, US and India. 3 different groups, places working in different angles. as well as production in Hyderabad. We develop a specialized different formulations and do the business for this angle. We are not a traditional herbal formulation company. We are a designer of the formulation depending on the disease area. This is the approach we take.
Thank you, sir. I mean, I think it's a debate always going on whether this is pseudoscience or something, always with respect to alternate medicine. But keeping all that aside, there's something very interesting in your profile where you have interest in nanotechnology. So how do you see nanotechnology coming into nutraceuticals and alternate medicine?
Yeah.
That is something which you are also exploring, right? If you can just...
Correct. So actually, I will talk about that absorbed in not doing activity. The nanotechnology plays a role here.
Okay.
What we understand nanotechnology is coming to picture mind that, okay, silver nanoparticle. No, silver is one of the nanoparticles. There are several ways to take this nanoparticle. Delivery system, we could talk about that. Phytosome is a nanoemulsion technology. Second, going for SNET, we talk about that self-nanoemulsifying technology. That also make the molecule such a way that getting absorbed. Making that micronization nanoparticle and making much more available to the cells. So that is the delivery system. If nanoparticle plays a role, these herbal active principles, though it's showing the activity to a lower level, they do the miracle.
Got it. Thank you so much. Dr. Jitendra, just coming back to you, we understand that there are around 640 odd projects that are being taken up by the Kalyan Institute currently and working on 1,000 equipments. So, I mean, to think of this scale is quite impossible for anybody. So, and that too in the very innovation phase where you are in the upfront of technology. How do you do this? As entrepreneur, as well as somebody who runs a small business, we would like to understand how you are able to achieve the scale and maintain that quality.
I'll ask a very simple question. If you look at most advanced countries that have established healthcare systems, what is the pathway? First, they diagnose the problem. Then they take a consultation from a doctor. And then they take a drug. So it is diagnosis, doctor, drug. What do we do in India? We first go to a chemist shop. We buy the medicine. If the medicine works, we forget it. If the medicine doesn't work, we go to the doctor. If the doctor is successful in figuring out what has happened, we are lucky. If the doctor is not successful, we go to diagnostics. So the entire healthcare value chain pathway in India is inverse of the rest of the world. Or elsewhere it is diagnostics, doctors and drugs. In our case it is drugs, doctors and diagnostics. We end up finding what is wrong at the last. And I think any scale, a scale as I mentioned, you know, it was unimaginable for us on the 7th of April 2020, 15 days after lockdown, to imagine that we can roll out India's RT-PCR COVID kits. On that day, I started the first line with 3,000 kits per day. India needed 12 lakh per day. Between April and August 2020, we went from 3,000 COVID test kits per day to 11 lakh per day. We could almost meet 95% of India's requirement at a comparison which is humongous. We were getting it from Korea for 4,250 rupees and we could give to Indian patients at 218 rupees. Of course, gradually. Now, if you look at this scale, more than scale, what is important is speed. Because in pharmaceuticals, in medical technology that we all belong to, you give something to the citizens or to the patients late, it is worse than not giving. Right? It's like we call in medicine. When I was hospital administrator, my director used to tell, successful surgery, patient dead. The surgery is successful, the patient died. So you just can't in medical technology, in pharmaceuticals, do something late. It is worse than not doing. Because you have already costed somebody's trust, somebody's time, somebody's recovery pathway. You have already compromised with all those things. And therefore, if we follow the right speed, scale comes automatically. If you chase scale, it becomes daunting, it becomes scary. On the 7th of April 2020, if I would have thought of making 11 lakh COVID RT-PCR test kits out of 12 lakhs that country needed, we would have gone home. It was impossible. But if you break down the scale into speed and say, can we do 3,000 test kits today, take care of Visakhapatnam's COVID testing? Can we make it 10,000 next week? Can we make it 50,000 next week? That speed takes care of scale, which you don't have to worry. So in marketing language, if you keep your run rate excellent, the score comes automatically. You worry about the score you get out. And I think a way which we have discovered, a very unique and very casual way, is whether it is building India's first MRI or building India's first heart valve, whether it is building a cyclotron. So we have just laid the foundation of AP's first cyclotron. Now imagine if this cyclotron comes and we make technetium 99 or molybdenum 99 or fixed dose FDG radioisotopes, all the cancer centers in this region will be able to get radioisotopes for cancer treatment. We have just done that. Now, whether it is cyclotron or MRI, whether it is gamma irradiation or heart valves, we are currently doing over 684 projects, most of them successfully. One thing which we have not compromised is speed. We are only 40 months young in Visakhapatnam since our inauguration. And we are able to produce over 8,000 crore worth of medical equipment, whereas India's import dependency is 43,000 crore. Now imagine if in 40 months, we are able to touch 8,000 crore and India's import dependency is 40,000 crore. In next 3 years, we will be there. We will be an import neutral. We will be a net exporter of medical technology to the world, right? And I think the key word is speed, not scale. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. One final question, sir. In India, it's important that both affordability and portability go hand in hand, especially when the lower income people are concerned for healthcare, because not all of them can afford to lose a day's wage and visit hospitals. Something as simple as you mentioned, spectacles, to understand eyesight, etc. They don't have those kind of equipments. So how is that being dealt here? Of course, MRIs are on the other end of spectrum, but on the other smaller basic amenities like...
Excellent question, and I'm glad you asked that question. If you pass on that book to me, I have documented that in this book. You know, there was a time when we needed oxygen concentrator more than food. We needed it more than water.
Right.
Right. So this book, Made in Lockdown, on page number 143, I have documented a program called O2 Home. Now we produced 1,000 oxygen concentrators every day. In fact, world's largest oxygen concentrator line is in Visakhapatnam at MP medtech zone. Now the oxygen concentrator is priced at 57,500 rupees, although at that time people purchased it in lakhs in unregulated price regime. How many people can really afford 57,500 rupees oxygen concentrator which you need only for 10 days? And why should you? Because there are large number of people in the society that have 15,000 or 20,000 as their monthly salary. Are we telling them put 3 months salary to buy a dabba which you will never use after you are fine? What did we do? Uber cabs also did not have jobs, the drivers, because of the lockdown. We partnered with Uber cabs. We shipped 300 oxygen concentrators in over 80 cities in India in our warehouses. We created an app which is there on Android and iOS called O2 Home. If you look at this app, O2 Home.
Yeah, we are all
right?
aware, sir, yeah.
We created this app. We shipped thousands of oxygen concentrators in over 80 cities. And anybody who needed oxygen concentrator could order an oxygen concentrator for 400 rupees instead of buying at 60,000 rupees. After the app would receive the order, the Uber driver in that city, whether it is Surat or Murshidabad or Meerut or Mehboob Nagar, would get a call. The Uber driver would go to our warehouse, pick the oxygen concentrator, take it to the patients. After patient has used it, collect it after 5 or 10 days, it would have still costed the family only 2,000 rupees. What happens if the oxygen concentrator breaks down or gets lost or somebody breaks it? We had taken insurance over the entire inventory. Just imagine what happened. Oxygen concentrator manufacturers got the market, Uber drivers got the job, patients got a service exactly in affordable manner, the same 60,000 rupees concentrator for 4,000 rupees, and insurance company got the premium. Who lost? Nobody. Right? And that's how we can democratize technology, because the principle is whenever the cost of a product is high, cost is high, and the need is occasional. Cost is high and need is occasional. That's the time we can convert a product into a service. And always in medical science, we should keep looking at things which can go from a product to a service. That's how we will make it affordable. But this is an example which is live, working today since 2 years, giving the same technology that people needed for 60,000 rupees for 400 rupees.
That's amazing, sir. That's such great out-of-the-box thinking to get things done. Thank you so much. So, Dr. Kalyan, you've been in the entrepreneurship space. What are the opportunities the entire lockdown has opened up, other than specific to vaccines, etc.? Other than that, what are the other opportunities you see where you have seen gaps, where people can come in and become entrepreneurs themselves?
So if you look at COVID-19 or pandemic era from past 2 years, people have changed their lifestyle. They have become more sedentary. So which has caused a lot of problems, kind of non-communicable diseases, like I can say lifestyle diseases like atherosclerosis, obesity, strokes, heart attacks, and type 2 diabetes. A steep increase in the population, Indian population, as well as around the world. So these are the segments which I told, like diabetes or obesity. These are the segments which have opened a lot of option to the pharma industry, where they can work on the advanced molecules in terms of the diabetes sector, in terms of the heart attacks and strokes. So I feel that these lifestyle and communicable diseases, if we pharma people are concentrating on these kind of diseases, so it has created a lot of opportunities for us pharma industry.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Dr. Krishna, finally, so it has been widely spoken about that India has to become self-reliant in manufacturing of APIs. What are your views about that? Are the policies are enough to take care of that? What else needs to be done right now to make sure that happens?
Yeah. Compared to other countries, especially with China, the Indian manufacturing is around 35% more. That is because of the scale, one. Then the second one is the internal and external infrastructure, and the support from the academic institutions, partnerships with the universities and technological centers. So if you take the Andhra Pradesh, we don't have a NIPER institute here. Once the NIPER comes, it will improve. We don't have Pharmexcel office. So that kind of things are there, and sector-specific policies by the government will definitely help. And the cluster approach and the industrial theme based about that, I already told. Once those things will come, then we can compete with China. Perhaps we can export more to China itself. So that kind of policies and other things support is required. Already Government of India is selecting 3 pharma parks, but still they are not announced which state and other things. Those things will come up. Definitely we'll achieve our $130 billion of the business which government has aimed. Thank you.
Sure, sir. As they say, everything starts with a thought. I think the thought has started, and now it's time to act upon it. Thank you. Finally, ma'am, you do a lot of work with women in pharma. How are you ensuring that there are more women coming to this field? I've heard that you do a lot of campus programs as well. If you can just talk a little bit about that.
Thank you, Hema. So, I think women definitely bring a different perspective onto the table when we participate in meetings, or when there are boardroom decisions or when there is some research happening. So I think that diversity is very important, especially in pharma, because we are making drugs. There are some drugs which has to be given to both men and women. But how each one as an individual, their genetic constitution is different.
Right.
So it is always important to have that fair share of women even in the clinical study. So that is not mandatory now, but I think definitely going forward, that would definitely come into the picture. And coming to working with women, so I am actually leading one of the unit in my organization. So when the other two units are led by my brother, or but there is a difference which I find that women who are working with me, they find it really comfortable. If there is women in the top position, because we as women are multitaskers, we need to take care of a lot of things. So these employees, women employees, find it really comfortable to come and share their problems or concerns, or if they would really like to upskill themselves. So that is the important thing which a woman at the top level brings a difference, I feel. So when it comes to institutions, we've been visiting a lot of pharmacy colleges in and around Andhra Pradesh. But the only thing I find it lacking is there is no proper infrastructure, and the curriculum is not in line with what the industry needs. So I think we need to really work on it, and the industry and academia, the campus to corporate is very important. Otherwise, you study 4 years or you pharmacy, or then do an M.Pharm or a biotech, and then you come to the industry and you don't know what a basic pH is. So that is a sad state what we are seeing today. So I think our academic institutions need to be really strengthened, and industry and government are definitely will be the key stakeholders in doing that along with academicians. So that is one thing which I really need, is the need of the hour.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I guess we are closing it, guys. As promised, we are closing it 45 minutes. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I've already asked you. Is making sure I've asked you questions. Is there anything you would like to add, sir? Any other? I think I've asked you about the nanotech and everything. So
Yeah.
felt I've left you out. So no, I've already asked him. So we just started off from there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everyone in the audience. Thank you, sir.
Mic check. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for the eminent panelists here on the session chair. It's brilliant of exchanging information, assessing the right potential of the city Visakhapatnam, and also making sure there's only millions of benefits through these awareness Bizzbuzz conclave. And I thank our panelists and the session chair for discussing on the topic pharmaceutical sector and assessing the right potential of AP's pharma sector. Huge round of applause once again for the participation. Yes, a token of gratification has been shared on behalf of Hans India in association with the World Trade Center Association, Visakhapatnam.